Most men lose the game before it even begins. Not because they are weak, not because they lack intelligence, but because they are easy to read. Their emotions leak through their face, their intentions spill through their words, their reactions reveal their limits. And once a man is readable, he is manageable. The men who always win understand this early. They make themselves difficult to read, not mysterious for attention, not silent for effect, but controlled by design. When a man is hard to read, people hesitate around him. They pause before speaking. They think twice before acting. They become cautious. Caution is power. Most men believe clarity builds trust. In reality, clarity builds comfort, and comfort breeds disrespect. When people feel comfortable around you, they test you, they interrupt you, they push boundaries, they assume access. Unreadable men deny this comfort. They create psychological distance. Distance forces respect. A man who reveals everything invites evaluation. A man who reveals little forces interpretation. And interpretation creates projection. People project their fears, expectations, and assumptions onto unreadable men. This projection does the work for them. Silence becomes meaning, stillness becomes authority, calm becomes threat. This is why unreadable men are often described as intimidating without doing anything intimidating. Their lack of reaction creates imbalance. Imbalance shifts control. In any interaction, the man who reveals less holds more power. This is not theory, it is observable behavior. When two men face pressure, the emotional one becomes predictable. His voice changes, his posture tightens, his decisions rush. The unreadable man remains the same. Same tone, same posture, same pace. This consistency under pressure is unsettling. People expect cracks. When cracks don't appear, fear replaces confidence. Fear forces restraint. This is how unreadable men dominate environments quietly. They do not assert authority. Authority forms around them. They do not chase control. Control shifts toward them naturally. Most men speak too much because silence makes them uncomfortable. They explain, they justify, they clarify. Every explanation gives away leverage. Unreadable men tolerate silence. They let gaps exist. They let tension stretch. Most people rush to fill silence. When they do, they reveal themselves. They overshare. They overcommit. They expose insecurities and urgency. The unreadable man collects information without effort. Information is leverage. Leverage protects position. This is why unreadable men are difficult to manipulate. Manipulation requires emotional access, guilt, fear, approval. Unreadable men offer none of it. They do not react emotionally. They do not reassure impulsively. They do not rush connection. Without emotional access, manipulation collapses. This frustrates insecure people. They escalate. They probe harder. They test boundaries. The unreadable man stays unchanged. This contrast exposes weakness.
weakness loses. Unreadable men also control timing. They do not respond immediately. They allow time to pass. Time reveals intention. Time exposes desperation. Time weakens emotional pressure. By the time the unreadable man responds, the situation has already clarified itself. His response is precise. Precision feels powerful. This is why unreadable men often appear calculated, not because they are cold, but because they are disciplined. They feel emotion, but they do not display it. They separate internal experience from external behavior. This separation preserves clarity. Clarity leads to correct decisions. Correct decisions compound. Over time, unreadable men accumulate advantage without noise. They do not win through confrontation, they win through positioning. While others argue, they reposition. While others react, they observe. While others demand respect, they let disrespect expose character. This is why unreadable men are rarely disrespected twice. The first attempt receives nothing. The second feels uncomfortable. The third never happens. People learn quickly when reaction is removed. Reaction invites negotiation. Unreadability enforces reality. This is the foundation.
Unreadable men understand something that emotionally expressive men never do. Power is not built through explanation, it is built through restraint. The moment a man explains himself unnecessarily, he lowers his position. He invites judgment, he invites debate, he invites challenge. Unreadable men avoid this instinctively. They do not rush to clarify misunderstandings. They do not correct every assumption. They do not defend their intent. They let others sit with uncertainty. Uncertainty creates psychological pressure. Pressure forces people to reveal their priorities. Most men cannot tolerate uncertainty. They feel compelled to resolve it. They talk, they justify, they overcommit. Unreadable men remain still. This stillness reverses the dynamic. In leadership environments, unreadable men rise faster and fall slower. They do not micromanage emotionally. They do not seek approval through transparency. They do not narrate every decision. They allow results to speak. Results carry authority. Explanations dilute it. When pressure increases, unreadable men become quieter, not louder. This is counterintuitive. Most men raise their voice when they feel challenged. Unreadable men lower theirs. Lower volume forces others to listen. Listening shifts power. Unreadable men also control emotional access. They do not reveal frustration publicly. They do not vent to regain comfort. They do not display insecurity under pressure. This makes them difficult to read and even harder to influence. People do not know what motivates them. They do not know what angers them. They do not know where their limits are. Unknown limits create caution. Caution preserves respect. This is why unreadable men are rarely pushed casually. People test once. They feel the absence of reaction. They withdraw. In negotiation, unreadability is leverage. When one side cannot read urgency, fear, or attachment, they hesitate. Hesitation weakens position. Unreadable men appear indifferent to outcome, not because they do not care, but because they refuse to broadcast importance. Importance revealed is leverage lost. They are willing to walk away quietly. That willingness shifts control immediately. The man who needs the outcome less sets the terms. Unreadable men also understand that most conflicts are psychological theater. People provoke to feel powerful. They test to establish hierarchy. They push to extract reaction. Unreadable men refuse to participate. They do not validate provocation with emotion. Without validation, the performance collapses. This makes emotional opponents feel exposed. Exposure leads to retreat. Unreadable men win conflict they never appear to fight. They let others overextend. Overextension reveals weakness. Weakness invites correction. Correction is not emotional, it is structural. Distance is created. Access is reduced. Opportunities disappear. No explanation is given. The outcome teaches the lesson. This is why unreadable men are often described as cold, but cold is inaccurate. They are contained. Containment signals discipline. Discipline signals strength. Strength commands respect. Unreadable men also conserve energy. They do not waste emotional energy on unnecessary reactions. They do not burn focus on arguments that do not change outcome. They preserve clarity. Clarity allows long-term thinking. Long-term thinking wins long games. While others are trapped in immediate emotion, unreadable men plan sequences. They do not ask, "How do I respond right now?" They ask, "What position does this create later?" This perspective changes everything. Unreadable men see beyond the moment. They understand that power is cumulative. Small advantages stacked consistently outperform dramatic gestures. This is why unreadable men often seem to move slowly, but their movement is deliberate. Every action has purpose. Every silence has weight. People sense this. They feel evaluated. When people feel evaluated, they behave more carefully. Careful behavior benefits the unreadable man. He does not need to enforce control. The environment enforces it for him. Unreadable men also resist the urge to be liked. They understand that likability is unstable. It fluctuates with mood, context, and benefit. Respect is structural. Unreadability supports structure. Structure protects position. This is why unreadable men rarely lose authority suddenly. They do not spike emotionally. They do not collapse under pressure. They remain consistent. Consistency builds trust. Trust combined with restraint creates dominance. This dominance is quiet. It does not announce itself. It is felt. And once felt, it cannot be ignored. This is the second truth.
Unreadable men eventually reach a point where their presence alone changes behavior. They don't need to assert authority. They don't need to correct people. They don't need to react. People adjust automatically. They speak more carefully. They choose words deliberately. They hesitate before pushing boundaries, not because they were warned, but because uncertainty feels dangerous. Humans fear what they cannot predict. Predictability feels safe. Unreadability feels risky. This is why unreadable men are often described as intimidating, even when they are polite. Their calm creates a psychological fog. others cannot tell what is acceptable, what is tolerated, or what will trigger consequence. That ambiguity forces restraint. Restraint preserves hierarchy. Most men believe dominance must be displayed. They think power is something you show. Unreadable men understand power is something you withhold. The less you reveal, the more others imagine, and imagination is always more powerful than reality. When people imagine your limits, they assume the worst. That assumption protects you. Unreadable men do not rush to resolve tension. They allow tension to exist. Tension forces movement. People either retreat or expose intent. Either outcome benefits the unreadable man. If someone retreats, dominance is established. If someone exposes intent, information is gained. Unreadable men never lose in this exchange. They also understand the power of delayed response. Immediate reactions feel emotional. Delayed responses feel intentional. Intentional behavior commands respect. When an unreadable man finally responds, it feels calculated, even if it was simple, because silence framed it. Silence turns ordinary decisions into decisive ones. This is why unreadable men are rarely questioned after they speak. People assume thought occurred beforehand. Assumption creates authority. Unreadable men also understand that emotional transparency is not strength, it is access. Access allows influence. Unreadable men restrict access carefully. They do not overshare. They do not vent publicly. They do not seek emotional comfort from the environment. They process privately. Private processing preserves position. Public emotion dissolves it. This is why unreadable men remain composed during loss, pressure, and uncertainty. They feel deeply, but they do not display freely. This separation is mastery. Mastery over self precedes mastery over environment. Unreadable men do not need to intimidate. They allow others to intimidate themselves. Silence amplifies insecurity. When someone speaks aggressively and receives no reaction, their aggression feels foolish. They either escalate and expose weakness or withdraw. Both outcomes reduce their status. Unreadable men let this happen. They do not interrupt self-destruction. They let people show who they are. Over time, this creates a pattern. People learn that provoking the unreadable man produces nothing useful. No drama, no validation, no emotional payoff. Eventually, the behavior stops. Respect replaces testing. This is how unreadable men win social games without playing them. They opt out of emotional competition. They refuse to trade energy for ego. They let others exhaust themselves. Exhausted people make mistakes. Calm observers profit from mistakes. Unreadable men also accept solitude. They do not need constant interaction to feel secure. They are comfortable in silence. Comfort with silence signals internal stability. Internal stability signals power. People respect what does not depend on them. Dependence creates leverage for others. Unreadable men remove that leverage. They are complete without approval. This makes them difficult to influence. In leadership, unreadable men build systems instead of charisma. They rely on structure. Structure enforces behavior even when they are absent. This makes their influence durable. Durability is the highest form of power. Flashy dominance fades, quiet structure remains. Unreadable men also understand the final rule of power. The man who reveals the least controls the most. Information asymmetry decides outcomes. The more others know about you, the more they can plan around you. Unreadable men deny this advantage. They remain opaque. Opacity creates fear. Fear creates hesitation. Hesitation creates dominance. This is why unreadable men often rise slowly but never fall suddenly. They do not expose themselves at the peak. They do not celebrate loudly. They do not broadcast success. They protect position through restraint. By the time others notice their dominance, it is already embedded. Too late to challenge, too late to undermine. The environment has already adjusted. This is the final truth. Being hard to read is not about being silent for effect. It is about controlling what you reveal, when you reveal it, and to whom. It is about refusing to let emotion dictate exposure. It is about understanding that mystery is not weakness, it is leverage. Welcome to PowerMind Coded. Reveal less, observe more. Let others expose themselves, because the men who are hardest to read are the men who always win.